Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. We'll begin in 2 minutes. Yeah, give me 1 second. We're setting everything up, and I'll be right with you. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Where's that coming from? Is it the mic? Oh, I have the mic sit. Hey.
All right. Still having echo. Open.
I can't even get back.
Testing. Testing. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got the echo loop out of the way. I muted it.
Maybe because you have a mic here, right?
Yeah, there's an open mic here.
And it's hearing that as well, which is on a delay.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, that's why I have it muted.
Okay.
So I just can't talk while that's open.
You just,
no big deal.
As long as it records with sound.
Right.
People are going to hear you speaking anyway. Now,
Yeah.
what they
get here.
won't do is if you're playing any videos, they won't hear it.
No, I'll unmute it and play it.
Oh.
I just can't talk.
Okay.
I have to mute this mic.
All right. So play a video, and then you'll have to mute that.
All right, and thank you all for showing up here live on all social media platforms of the Fearless Floyd Show. Hello, Sandra. Hello, NTM. Thank you for joining. I am at the Skypony Gallery in Plano, Texas, at the shops at Willowbend, and I want to first thank my gracious hosts, Doug and Kiki Winters, for allowing me to do this presentation, allowing yesterday's presentation with Noel Benoit, which obviously was a much better audience than I have today, but it is what it is. So I'm going to be talking about various topics. For some of you who don't know who I am, don't know what I've done, I want to cover just some quick stuff, and then I'm going to dive into the topics about artificial intelligence, digital DNA, and digital twins. So without further ado, let me show you guys something. For a lot of people in the audience yesterday, a lot of them were MAGA supporters and Trump supporters, obviously, Republicans. And we had a lot of people here from the Republic of Texas. So they had a lot of questions about, especially with my own personal background dealing with all the assemblies, private membership associations, stuff like that. They were asking me a lot of questions. And we got into a whole bunch of different stuff. And in talking about this, I've always said that the people over here doing all the private process stuff, and the people that want to be sovereign, and then the people that just they don't want anything to do with government. They just want out of the whole matrix thing. And then, you have the conservatives, then you have the Republicans, and then you have the MAGA, and then you have the QAnons over here. Well, all those people know about the same stuff. They know about the birth certificate bomb, the all capital names, straw man, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as we went down the list. So as we discussed all that, I was trying to explain to him that, divided we fall, united, we stand. And the problem is that all these people across that broad spectrum completely understand the minutia of all of that. However, they're all fractionalized. They think their group is going to be the superior one, and instead of all harmonizing, because they all want the same thing, freedom, peace, and tranquility. But yet they choose not to harmonize. They want to stay fractured. There are people in there who say, oh, you can't join this group if you belong to that group, blah this, blah that. And it's a sad commentary on society, especially people that want to move forward. Now, I'm not a negative Nancy. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from doing what they feel in their heart and soul that they should do for themselves, God, country, political party, family, whatever. Okay. Continue to do what you do. But I will caveat that with this, nobody can beat fraud and corruption. When there's fraud and corruption involved in anything, there are no rules. If you're playing by the rules and they're not, more likely than not, you're going to lose, which is sad, but that's how it is. So this is probably going to be a long day for me, but let me get rolling. But in doing so, I want to give you a little bit of my bona fides about what I've done just on this topic, because a lot of what I'm going to get into, the Trump administration is in the middle. Okay. Good, bad, indifferent. I'll let you determine that. I'm not going to decide for you. Let's see. New tab. No. Kick that out. Oh. All right. So add to the stage. I believe that's where I'm at.
And then they would go mine other planets and bring stuff back. And then they also want to back that having jewels or that.
Trying to figure this out. So give me a second. All right.
So yours and then
Finally. Am I caught? Yep, it is. Okay. What you see here is my treason against the state of Texas. I mailed this off January 6th, 2024. You see all the recipients on here? And there's the title, Treason Against the State of Texas. Shall consist only of levying war against it or adhering to its enemies, giving them aid and comfort, and no person shall be convicted of treason except on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. See Texas Constitution, Article 1, Section 22. So basically, this is it. If you'd like a copy of this, I'll send it to you. They're the testimony of the 2 witnesses. These are the titles. Witness signature, notarized, evidence, treasonous acts.
I hope they are. I didn't want to somehow, but I wanted to be enough.
Well, we'll be fortunate to talk about
There you go. Yes, right.
There you go.
And we get more.
So that's what I did.
Is going to be more than nitty-gritty and
And I forwarded
see, and that was the question about it.
to all those folks on January 6th. 6 months later, on July 6th, after I received no contact from any of the recipients, I filed a follow-up letter. I got a boilerplate template letter from Senator John Cornyn saying, we received correspondence, and to this day, I haven't heard a thing about that. That's your government at work. This is your government. So the governments, we have a problem. I want to play a little quick video for you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes. Yeah. And he was in charge, why would they try to put him in prison for that? And that's
Hush, Sosh.
and they play they hear people afraid. They're just blowing up.
Well, there's some.
When I was in, they said, you told somebody something 15 years.
We know that on law, but somehow. There we go.
Yeah.
This is how you get duped, folks. Okay? Pay attention to this. Oh, hang on.
I'm going to say hello.
All right, I wanted to show you that specifically because when you hear politicians, okay, they're the two sides of the same coin. They all have an agenda. They all have a narrative. You may hear all this political rhetoric about all the things that they're going to promise to do, they're going to do when they get in there. And when they get in there, it's a completely different story. Not everything happens as it does. So, like I said, Trump is in the middle of this. How is he in the middle of it? I'm going to show you. So,
And if they get it, and we get those square regular, it'll be gone in a heartbeat. And I'm broadcasting that far and wide.
Okay. Because I just street and I don't know
And
many
that's
people.
my cue that everything wrong with it.
let's just go over here and start here.
And tells me all that.
Yeah, no matter what the death was, it could be, yeah, it could be an auto accident. Oh, we got another death. Yeah, and they were paying the hospital.
Oh, you have a, do you have a YouTube page?
All right, what you see here is the definition of AI according to the federal government. For the purposes of this report, I gotta increase this so I don't have to turn around and keep reading.
Elon word. But, and that's why I'm trying to,
27?
if you can't take them there, we gotta have that.
There we go.
We have to write.
Now I can read. Okay. Definition of AI. For the purpose of this report, the definition of an AI system is one that was established as the best practice in recently released NIST AI risk management framework. Quote, an AI system is an engineered or machine-based system that can, for a given set of objectives, generate outputs such as predictions, recommendations, or decisions influencing real or virtual environments. AI systems are designed to operate with varying levels of autonomy. Close quote. Oh, okay.
Are you online right now?
Yeah, we're doing it live. I'm doing the presentation. If, you can get Doug and Kiki to process it if you want.
How much is it?
They're 229, 10% off.
Shit, that's too much money. $200?
It has 7 different trusts in it, and every form you'll ever need to operate and trust. That's what they're for. Yeah, that's no problem. Stargate AI, LLC. The Stargate AI project, a $500 billion initiative announced in January 2025 by OpenAI, Sam Altman, SoftBank, Moshoshi Son, and Oracle, Larry Ellison. I'm just going to give you the highlights of this, okay? You can go look at this stuff for yourself. But on May 16th, 2025, NVIDIA, who makes the world's fastest silicon processor chip, Cisco, and OpenAI announced plans for UAE, United Arab Emirates Stargate data center set to open in 2026. A similar partnership was announced May 22nd, 2025, with G42, Oracle, NVIDIA, SoftBank, and Cisco collaborating on the same initiative in the United Arab Emirates. Elon Musk has publicly questioned the financial feasibility. However, SoftBank and OpenAI have reached reportedly $19 billion in initial capital for the venture. The Stargate project remains a central component of the U.S. AI infrastructure strategy, with support from the Trump administration, which has pledged to use executive orders to expedite the development. This is OpenAI's Oracle Deepen AI Center. And doesn't that kind of look like a circuit board? Because that's exactly what it is. So who are the Stargate AI players? First, we have Sam Altman of OpenAI, who was born in 1985. He's an American entrepreneur, investor, chief executive officer at OpenAI since 2019. He is considered one of the leading figures of the AI boom. Okay. When I say AI boom, this is, we've had these big bubbles. We had the dot-com bubble. Then we had the real estate bubble. Then we had the crypto bubble. And now this next one is AI. Altman's net worth was estimated at $1.8 billion as of July 2025. So he's a small fry with a big company in the grand scheme of things when you compare him to these other two individuals who are part of the AI Stargate project. Moshe Son of SoftBank, born in 1957. He's the founder, representative director, corporate officer, chairman, and chief executive of SoftBank Group, a technology-focused investment holding company, as well as chairman of the UK-based ARM Holding and US-based Stargate LLC. As of May 2025, Son ranked 65 on Forbes' list of the world's billionaires and is number 177 on Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Next, we move on to Larry Ellison of Oracle, born in 1944. He was Oracle's chief executive officer from 1977 to 2014, is now chief technology officer and executive chairman. As of July 2025, Ellison is the second wealthiest person in the world, according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, with an estimated net worth of $254 billion, and the second wealthiest person in the world, according to Forbes, with an estimated worth of $286.8 billion. Ellison is also known for his ownership of 98% of the island of Lanai, which is the sixth largest island in the Hawaiian Islands. In response to the September 11th terrorist attacks of 2001, Ellison made the controversial offer to donate software to the federal government that would have enabled it to build and run a national identification database to issue ID cards. Quote, the Oracle of National ID Cards, and that was from Wired from October 27, 2001. An article Ellison wrote for the Wall Street Journal is more blunt, and I quote, the government could phase in digital ID cards to replace existing Social Security cards and driver's license. These new IDs should be based on a uniform standard such as credit card technology, which is harder to counterfeit than existing government IDs. Here's Larry Ellison's Wikipedia. Come on. I got a lag here. All right. Larry Ellison on gene editing. Larry Ellison, co-founder of Oracle, has been actively promoting the development of AI-driven personalized cancer vaccines, aiming to create mRNA vaccines tailored to individual patients within 48 hours using advanced AI and robotic systems. His vision includes early cancer detection through AI analysis of blood tests and gene sequencing to develop customized vaccines. Larry Ellison's AI-driven personalized cancer vaccines. Ellison envisions a future where AI can design personalized mRNA vaccines for cancer patients within 48 hours, leveraging gene sequencing and robotic manufacturing to produce vaccines tailored to each individual's tumor profile. And I can go on, but I will continue. This is a article from Bioengineer. Oracle's Ellison envisions AI-designed personalized cancer vaccines. If you're not familiar with what that is, I'll get into that and explain it to you. Here's another. This is the article from the Bioengineering, but basically declaring that artificial intelligence will soon design personal mRNA vaccines for each and every individual to fight cancer, and that they produced by robotic systems within a mere 48 hours. When someone of this stature speaks about an AI-driven revolution that custom tailors vaccines for disease as formidable as cancer, it compels our attention. He envisions a future in which we create an mRNA therapy specifically for each patient's cancer profile, meaning that no two people's vaccines will be exactly alike. So if you're not familiar with this, I'll get into it. The idea is that thousands or even millions of unique mRNA sequences could be generated or tested, or at the very least, validated in silico within days. Most people don't know this. The world's first genetically modified human. Rice University experts examine historic personalized gene editing breakthrough. The New York Times reported this, and this is probably 2 months old. A child has been cured using the first gene editing therapy custom built for an individual patient. The therapy corrected a single letter mutation in the genome, which is DNA, the root cause of deadly rare disease. This breakthrough offers new hope for the more than 30 million Americans living with one of over 7,000 rare genetic diseases, the vast majority of which have no effective treatment. And this goes into the whole CRISPR-based gene correction. If you're not familiar with that, y'all can get as close as y'all want. Y'all can sit right in front of me if you want. I do, but it's too much feedback. Y'all can pull up chairs. Y'all can pull those. Y'all want to pull those up? I will. I'm not bashful. So as we continue, and I'm just hitting the highlights. You can go do a search on whatever search engine and find the same information. This isn't anything that's privy or, I'm somebody special and I got this through a back channel. Quote, gene therapy is one of the most exciting frontiers in medicine, including for treating diseases in the brain, where targeted, non-invasive approaches could make an enormous impact, close quote. Now, for most of you who don't know, Rice University is in my hometown, Houston, Texas. It is a major university dealing with all types of AI-driven technologies. So much that I have not had time to go review every article that has been published by the professors and associate professors at Rice University dealing with this type of technology. It's overwhelming. In fact, that the presentation that I put together today, which took me weeks to go accumulate all this information, put it in here, and of course, I've had technical difficulties. Both days I've been here in Plano. Yesterday morning and today I woke up and had it some more, which is a whole different issue, but took care of. So this stuff is coming. The genetically modified organism is complementary or artificial DNA. This is the case, the landmark case by the United States Supreme Court, which decided that, and I quote, a naturally occurring DNA segment is a product of nature and not patent eligible merely because it has been isolated, close quote. However, the court allowed patenting of complementary DNA or synthetic DNA, which contains exactly the same protein case base pair sequence as the natural DNA, albeit with introns removed. The lawsuit in question challenged the validity of gene patents in the United States. So basically what they're saying is, if I take a natural organism and I send in some type of device to manipulate the DNA, i.e. cut a strand out or cut a sequence out or cut one little genome out and replace it with synthetic DNA, now that particular entity, whether it's a human, a plant, an animal like a cow or thoroughbred racehorse, that is a genetically modified organism. It is patent eligible for whoever created that genome sequencing that was inputted into the entity. So theoretically, whoever created that vaccine for that child who was cured of this rare disease, they have a patent. So now they own that child as a product. Absolutely. So what I'm trying to show you is that through medicine, through convenience, people will surrender their humanity and become basically an android. and I'm going to show you everything that they're doing to create this. Now, when I told you that my presentation that I took 2 or 3 weeks to incorporate here, on my drive here, I listened to a 3+ hour video. I was turned on to the person that presented that video, Sabrina Wallace, by my friend, Dr. Ed Group. He's been promoting her. Listen to Sabrina, listen to Sabrina. So I had a 5-hour trip. I decided, let's turn it on and listen. By the time I got to Plano, I felt like an imbecile, a moron, complete idiot about all the stuff I'm talking about right now. Why? Because this just covers the surface. She took the deep dive down the rabbit hole to determine exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how long they've been doing it. So I'll get to her in a minute, but I wanted to break this down to you, and I wanted to show you the law. This is the law of the land, that if you get complementary or synthetic DNA incorporated into your system, into your body, you are now a patent eligible product owned by the manufacturer of that or the licensee. Wow. I don't see how that could have a problem. So that's where we're at. So there is a genetically modified human being wandering our earth. Believe it or not. What are genetically modified organisms? In general terms, genetically modified organisms are organisms that are altered using modern biotechnology techniques, such as an in vitro recombination of nucleic acid, DNA, or RNA molecules, resulting in an organism with a novel combination of genetic material. Novel means new. Genetic engineering allows scientists to select one specific gene to implant. This avoids introducing other genes with undesirable traits. Genetic engineering is also helps speed up the process of creating new foods with desired traits. Boy, genome editing is a newer method that involves adding, removing, or changing the DNA of a plant or animal in a targeted way. The USDA, or U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, assesses all GMOs to make sure they're safe before allowing them to be what? Sold. In addition to the FDA, and so when you get your little genetic vaccine or whatever to cure whatever allegedly in the future, you'll be governed by the FDA. If there's artificial intelligence involved, well, we're going to get to who's going to govern that. So the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, regulate bioengineered plants and animals. They assess the safety of GMOs to humans, animals, plants, and the environment. The first animal produced by means of cloning technique with a nucleus from an adult donor cell, as opposed to a donor embryo, was a sheep named Dolly, which we're all very familiar with. There's more information that I wanted to get into here, but I was on a time restraint because everything else that's happening, technical difficulties, flooding in my hotel room, et cetera, et cetera. And I wanted to get more information to show you about cloning, synthetics. And if you don't know what a synthetic is where you can go to a catalog and you can open it up and you're seeing these pictures of all these pretty people, all different colors, blonde hair, brown hair, black hair, afros, red hair, blue eyes, green eyes, athletic, slim, any color tone you want. You want bright white, dark black. You just select what synthetic or sleeve that you want. Allegedly, but we're going to find out that it's actually happening, that they will take your conscience, upload your conscience to the cloud or wherever, and download it into a synthetic body of your choice. That is actually happening today. So don't for a minute think that cloning is not real. Cloning goes all the way back to Clonade. If you're not familiar with Clonade, Clonade was created from the Raelian religion, who believe that, you know, UFOs are going to come save the world, have genetically modified the human beings. They were started in Canada, came into the United States, went to the Bahamas, and have kind of disappeared off the map. So they're hard to find. Ownership of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, are typically owned by the entities that develop them, which can include private companies, public institutions, and research organizations. So imagine being owned by some university research lab or Oracle or Facebook. That's a possibility, folks. In summary, ownership of genetically modified organisms is primarily held by the entities that develop them, often through use of patents, which can restrict the use and distribution of these organisms. Technology of scale. All right, here we dive into nanotechnology, which is in the normal, everyday nomenclature of everybody. We're going to dive into some scales that you probably have never heard of, that theoretically and hypothetically don't exist. Really? Watch. Nanotechnology is the manipulation of matter of at least one dimension sized 1 to 100 nanometers, which probably goes over most people's head, but it's thinner than a human hair, to give you an example. So we'll go from that. The associated research and application range from extensions in conventional device physics to molecular self-assembly, from developing new materials with dimensions on the nanoscale to direct control of matter on the atomic scale. Atomic, okay? Nanotechnology is on the molecular scale. We're going to dive into the atomic and subatomic levels here in a minute. Nanotechnology may be able to create new materials and devices with diverse applications, such as in nanomedicine, nanoelectronics, agriculture sectors, biomaterial, energy production, and consumer products. So next, we're going to move on to pico technology. So these terms are going to be in your nomenclature in the next decade. Pico technology. It is a hypothetical future level of technological manipulation of matter on the scale of trillionths of a meter, or picoscale, 3 orders of the magnitude smaller than a nanometer. So if a nanometer or nano is smaller than a human hair, okay, imagine what a pico is, because that would be 3 times smaller. We're going to dive into the subatomic level because pico technology is on the atomic level. The next one, further hypothetical development, is femtotechnology. Femtotechnology would involve working with matter at the subatomic level. All these definitions are straight from Wikipedia, so you can go look them up yourself. Again, femtotechnology is a term used in reference to the hypothetical manipulation of matter on the scale of a femtometer. Hypothetical means it doesn't exist. Want to bet? All right, well, let's go see, Floyd. The most advanced form of molecular nanotechnology is often imagined to involve self-replicating molecular machines. You heard me. Self-replicating molecular machines, and there have been some speculation suggesting something similar might be possible with analogs of molecules composed of nucleons rather than atoms. Astrophysicist Frank Drake once speculated about the possibility of self-replicating organisms composed of such nuclear molecules living on the surface of a neutron star. All right, so guess what we're getting into now? Come on. These are patents by inventor Donald Richard Wilsh of Florida. He has filed multiple patents for femtotechnology. And here are the patents. There's the patent number there in green. Basically, it's a carbanion. Of the carbanions may include a carbon atom. This was filed June 16th, 2021. It was granted, as you can see. Medicine composition for facilitating treating organs of a what? What are humans? Mammals. Holy crap. Really? Thank you, Donald. Appreciate you. There's the patent number. It was granted. Here's another one. Same deal. So you're looking at 3 patents for femtotechnology by Donald Richard Wilsh. So what does Floyd do when he finds stuff like this? I call people. I have personally spoken to Donald Wilsh. I have a multitude of his emails. So you would think that Donald's like some nuclear physicist, rocket scientist, right? He's a high school graduate with no college education, been doing femtotechnology for 20 years. So that tells me that if some high school graduate is using femtotechnology that theoretically, hypothetically does not exist for 20 years, that the United States government via Big Pharma, military industrial complex, has been using it for 50 to 20 years. Just like you heard Noel yesterday, same thing. If you go to Wikipedia right now, you put in picotechnology, femtotechnology, it's going to tell you it's hypothetical, doesn't exist. Futuristic scientific applications of technology. Tools and technologies for brain cells and circuits. The NIH Brain, that's the National Institute of Health, folks. Brain Initiative supports efforts to define, catalog, map, access, and characterize the diverse cell types and their functions in the brain across species. What does that mean in layman's terms, Floyd? They're mapping the brain so they know where to send the bots. That's what they're doing across every species. This isn't anything new. They've been doing it for a long, long time. If you dive into Sabrina's Wallace's website, and I'll show you guys at the very end here, they've had full access for the last decade, 2015, when they started this. So this isn't anything new by any stretch of the imagination. The ultimate concerted goal of these efforts is to provide both a comprehensive knowledge base and what? Experimental access to diverse brain cell types to enable the study of their roles in health and disease. The Brain Initiative Atlas Network. Some of this stuff you've never heard of, okay? And I get it. To dive into this stuff, if you would have told my father, who was a 9th grade physical science teacher, and I actually failed 9th grade physical science, and he lit my ass up for that. But if you would have told him when I failed that class that when I'm 60 plus years old, I'm going to be sitting in front of my computer at 3 o'clock in the morning reading scientific white papers about femtotechnology, searching for the truth, he would have laughed at you. I would have laughed at you. But here I am. And this is what I do. I'm searching for the truth, whatever it looks like, whether it's to my own detriment or not. If it's ugly, beautiful, whatever it is what it is. All I do is find facts, conclude the evidence, and make my own personal opinion. I'm showing you what I found. This is my research. And by all means, this is just the surface. Want a deeper dive into all this and the technologies that they're using, I don't have an engineering degree. And I'm like I said, I'm a moron. I'm an idiot. I'm ignorant. And part of this program is to educate you so you know what the future is, what reality today is. Because the reality today is what I'm showing you. They've been doing this. If you go back and check out, if you remember the Obama administration, you've heard of the term DARPA, right? Well, they have another DARPA, but it's not DARPA. Sabrina tells you all about it. I had no idea there was another one. But if you go back to 2012, 2013, Obama came out with DARPA's Brain Initiative. And if you do like I did, went back and you studied all that and seen exactly what they were trying to accomplish back then. They were trying to do the brain mapping. They were trying to put some type of array in the brain to receive and transceive. Mostly this was for veterans. That's the firewall that they use, the front straw person or the straw entity to get you to follow along with it. BICON supports 11 grants projected to total $100 million annually over 5 years. The aim of these awards is to generate complete reference atlases of brain cell types in human, non-human primates, and mouse across the lifespan, which can be shared and used throughout the research community. In addition to developing a parts list, detailing the vast array of neurons and non-neuronal cells in the human brain. The project also aims to map cell interaction that underlie a wide range of brain disorders. So now we're getting into what? How does the brain operate? Electricity, electrical currents. What is your body made of? What do they tell us? 90+% water? Isn't water a conductive electrical entity? Absolutely. So that's how they're doing it. Now, I want to ask my audience a question. How many of you in here have a smart TV? Raise your hand. Smart TV, like this one. Smart TV. Everybody?
I guess my son does.
How many have more than one? Just one? How many have a smart remote where you can like push a button and go, I'm going to watch the NFL? You do. Okay. Did you know that's the best spy device they have?
Yeah.
Do you know that mic's always open on your remote? It never shuts off?
I have to give a piece of my mind when I get it.
That's the facts. I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to show you how much that information's worth, how they're selling it, what they're using it for. I'm going to break all this down for you to show you what your digital DNA is. I see you're on your phone. Go to your settings, go to your connections, open your Bluetooth, scroll down, you see all those devices? You can do the same thing with your Wi-Fi. Those devices are all talking. You don't have to log on to them. They're talking in the back channel. Every app you have on your phone.
That's how Apple AirTag works.
Yeah. Every app you have on your phone, every app you have on any type of smart device, those apps constantly talk to each other. So in your house, if you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, you have a router, and you pull up your Wi-Fi and you see, you live in an apartment complex, and you see thousands of Wi-Fis. All those Wi-Fis are talking to each other. All those apps through your Wi-Fi are talking to their apps on their Wi-Fi and selling information back to those apps. Those apps are taking that information and they're selling it to whoever wants to buy it. That's what's going on.
Including your pictures. And what do they use?
Everything you do.
All your pictures, everything.
When people get on Facebook and they're like, okay, I want to be an action figure. Here, take my picture. You're giving them all your biometric data. Cameras now through the AI algorithm are watching your eyes. They're watching what you're looking at on the screen. They know everything that you're looking at. If you pause and you're like, oh, that's a pretty girl, guess what? You're going to get a bunch of pretty girls in your feed.
Yeah.
I know every one of you have your phone's down here. You're talking about, oh, I need to buy a new muffler for my car. And then you get on Facebook and now you can see all these muffler ads.
Even does it when you're thinking
It's
about it.
always open. It's always listening. This is what AI is. This is what AI is going to do. I'm going to play you a video, okay, of Donald Trump. Absolutely. and it's going to blow your mind of what I don't know if it's him personally. I don't know if he's being advised to do this. I don't know. Noel has his own beliefs, his own thing. I go by reality, facts, what's posted, what they're saying, and their actions. What do they say? You can always judge a man by his